Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's the DVO show with me, your host, DVO Derek Van Otten. And I thought I'd share this episode about a recent coaching session I had with a young lady. And if you're interested in getting a coaching session done with me for whatever it is, finance, business, life, marriage, you name it, I'll coach you, help you, walk you through it. I'm here for you. That's what I'm paid to do. All right. So anyway, I recently was talking with one of my clients, and their oldest turned 19 recently, and they were saying, "Hey, she wants to, be smart about her money. Can you please help her, talk to her, guide her?" And I said, "I'd be more than happy to do so." Very bright young lady. I've known her most of her life, and so I was very happy to sit down with her and talk to her. And we were talking about basically her finance, and I was giving her tips and giving her suggestions and things that I even told her parents years ago, and I was kind of relaying some of that back to her now. And it was just kind of fun to see generations, right, work on that. And it was very fun because I was listening to her mom, and her mom was telling her things that I've told her years ago, and I thought that was very cool. And that she's implementing those and then teaching that to her kids. Like, that's just fantastic. And this young lady's 19, and I was coaching her about how she can be a millionaire at such a young age. And that's the things we were talking about. Anyway, as we were talking, I was talking to her about, like, she can save her money and she can buy a house and she can buy the car of her dreams. And I was asking her questions like, what is the car that you would love, and things like that. Anyway, talking with her, we had the discussion about delaying gratification. So many people I sit down with, they want to look like they're doing well, which is, you'll see on social media, right? Most people are trying to look as though they are doing very well. And then the reality is something different. The reality is always usually something a little bit different. And I'll see these people, they have nice cars, nice houses, and I sit down and break down their finances and find out it's not quite as it may appear, And so I was telling her how important it is to delay gratification for future fulfillment. I know I posted about this on social media this past week, but it's because of this conversation I thought, let's talk about it a little bit more in depth. Because children do what feels good. Children do what they want, right? Kids, if you ask them, are you hungry? No. Do you want to eat? No. Do you want chicken? No. Do you want salad? No. Do you want ice cream? Oh yeah. Right now, right this minute. Even though I told you I'm full, I want ice cream. Right? That's how kids are. And I see a lot of people, a lot of adults acting like kids, where they're buying the car that they really shouldn't be buying. It's not really in their budget. It's not really in the means for them. They can't afford that type of a payment. It might seem like they can afford it, but then what if there's an emergency that happens? Sometimes it's not doable, right? You have to live within your means. You have to plan for the future. So I was telling this young lady, plan for your short term. Like, for example, putting a down payment down on a house, buying a car, right? These are short-term goals. And then have an emergency fund, because things happen, right? Something happens in the house, the water heater goes out, your transmission, your car go out. These are emergencies that you should maybe plan for. Even though you don't know when an emergency will happen, it's important to plan that emergency will happen. It will happen, okay? We all know, we've all experienced it. Things happen, shit happens, emergencies happen. It's nice to have an emergency fund. I was talking about her long-term goals. Set long-term goals. Like, for example, your retirement. Put money aside. I was showing her at age 19, if she puts about $150 a month away for the next 40 years, she'll be a millionaire. Isn't that, don't you wish you knew that at age 19? You can just put $150 away and you'd be a millionaire when you retire. Right? Not a lot of people weren't taught that. And that's the things I was teaching her. I was showing her the math. I said, hey, pull out your calculator. Like, do the math. I'm gonna pull up my calculator right now. I'm gonna kind of do the math. I'm like, okay, put $150 a month away. $150 a month times 12. That's $1,800 in a year. Times that $1,800 a year by the next 40 years, I said, that's $72,000. I was telling this girl, I had her pull out the calculator. You, imagine this, you put in $72,000 and you have $1 million. Tax-free. That's what I was teaching and coaching this young lady on. And I don't know if she was excited or not. I understand if she's not at the time because, 19, a lot of this is going over your head and you're like, oh, that's my money and I wish I could use my money now. I get it. But she did it anyway, right? I talked to her about delay the gratification. I know you want to go out now. You want to go to the movies. You want to go out to eat. You want to go shopping. These are things you want to do now, and that's fine. Do that now. But pay yourself first. I mean, this young lady, this is what we talked about. As you grow up, as you grow older, as you mature in life, as you get more jobs, you start climbing the corporate ladder and getting promotions and getting raises, you'll be able to put away more than $150. You'll be able to retire a multi-millionaire. But create the habit now. Create the habit of paying yourself first. Don't worry about making payments because she had some medical bills and she had some other student loans. And I said, hey, those will always be there for you. Don't worry about that. But pay yourself first, because a lot of people say, oh, I'll start saving when I make more money, when I get this next promotion. But guess what? Once you hear about the next promotion, once you hear about the next raise, you've already in your mind started planning for what you're gonna buy next. What's my next car? Where's my next vacation? I'm gonna save up for another house. But think about this, why don't you pay yourself first? Houses will come and go, cars will come and go, vacations will come and go. But time just keeps going by. Don't waste time and save. Save your money now. Keep saving. Pay yourself first. Maybe you've heard this before, maybe you haven't, but pay yourself first before you pay anyone else. That's what I was telling this young lady. Delay the gratification, because kids, young people, young immature minds want the satisfaction. They want the gratification right this minute. They want the ice cream right this minute. And you have to tell them, nope, you need to eat your vegetables and eat your food, and then you can have that. You want to delay the gratification of today for future fulfillment. Won't you feel more? If you just had ice cream all the time, sure, it would taste delicious, but would that really satisfy you? No, right? You'll feel sick eventually. You will feel sick. But if you have a nice balanced meal, don't you feel fulfilled? And then have a little bit of dessert of ice cream afterwards? Now you're talking about fulfillment. You want to delay the gratification of today for the future fulfillment. Plan for the future, right? Don't be like a kids. Kids do what feels right today. Adults, or I should say mature people, will delay the simple gratification right now for the future fulfillment. So imagine this young lady. She might not be able to go to the movies every weekend, but maybe 2 weekends out of the month. But just to know she's on track for her finances in the future, won't that be great? Only putting $150 a month away, she'll retire multimillionaire. Because obviously she'll keep putting more away. So these are the things that I'm talking about on this episode. I want you to be mature adults. Don't try to impress everyone. Again, other people's opinions about you is none of your business. Stop trying to make other people look at you on this pedestal. Stop trying to be something you're not. Okay? Be mature adults where you say, I'm going to pay myself first before I pay the car dealership, before I pay the mortgage company. I'm going to pay myself first. I'm going to plan for my future. And that's what I was talking to this young lady about. Like, don't worry about what other people think. And this young lady is very mature for her age. She's like, I'm not into cars. If people don't like it, it is what it is. So good for her. She's on the right track. She's got the right mentality already at this age. She's much more mature mentally than a lot of other people twice her age. Good for her, and good for her parents for listening to me at some point and passing that information on to her, changing their family tree. That should be a goal of yours. Change your family tree. Wouldn't that be awesome to change your family tree financially, I just lost the word. Philanthropically, did I say it right? I hope so. Tell me if I didn't. But change your family tree. Get your name on the stadiums, at the hospitals, at the schools. Put your name there. You be the one to do it. You'll be talked about for generations to come. I've talked about this before. Every day I think about my death. Every day. And what am I leaving behind for my family? What legacy am I leaving behind for them? Something they can look up to. I don't want to be forgotten. Well, you at your funeral or at the time of your death, you might have some loved ones that will plan something. Right? They'll plan a funeral. They'll plan an event. And the time will come and people will remember you and talk about you and cry over you. And then a couple days later, their life has to move on. Your loved ones will still be there and they have to make arrangements and plans. Hopefully you do things properly so you don't become a burden to them at that point. But time will go on. Days will go on. Weeks will go on. Months, years, decades. And a couple months from now, people won't talk about you as much after you're gone, unfortunately. And years will go by and less people will talk about you. And I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be forgotten about, until everyone's forgotten about because the aliens came down and had a war with us and they defeated us and then we're all forgotten about. But until that moment comes, I want to be remembered. But I don't want to remember just for my sake. I want to be remembered because I did something for my family. I changed our family tree. I impacted my future generations. That's what I want to do. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. I go to these football games and I see these people's names on the stadium and at the schools, and I'm just thinking these people did something great. Their families will remember them for years and years. That they were very generous. That they did something special. I think and I'm so happy for them. And I would like to do that, but I can't wait for someone to do that. I've got to be the one that does that. And you should too. You should be the one that wants to make an impact on your family. You want to be the one that they talk about years to come and thank you for thanks for my great-great-grandmother, great-great-grandfather for sacrifices they made to make us have this life that we have now. Why not? Why not it be you? It definitely can be. All right. Talk to you in the next episode. Keep being awesome. Bye.